What up, what up, what up? Welcome back. Yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous. Today, we're going to get into a little something, one of Serato's secret weapons. If you're a DJ that likes to scratch during your sessions or during your sets, but you just hate to have to unload a track just to upload a sound so you can scratch it, this is the video for you. Real quick shout out to all my Marvelous DJs out there, all of my subscribers. Thank you for watching the videos and joining the crew. Let's get into it on today's Cheat Code. Alright, so welcome back. So I know you all are like, what is this guy talking about, right? The scratch thing that Serato has. Okay, so what I'm talking about is the scratch bank, right? What is Scratch Bank? Serato DJ Pro has a feature called the Scratch Bank that you can load sounds or load tracks to similar to your samples. So you can actually have it almost like a cue pad or a sample pad. You can now have whole tracks, or you can have songs or samples of those songs loaded into Serato ready to go by hitting the cue button. It'll always be there. That'll be what you call the Scratch Bank. So you can load these sounds into Serato DJ Pro and it keeps it just like it keeps your samples. So that's what the Scratch Bank is. How do I use the Scratch Bank? Anytime I'm mixing songs like OT Genesis, Cut It, right? I always do like a little cut session, right? And they love it while he's doing the hook, right? You just kind of chop it up. I use the Scratch Bank for that because sometimes I just hate having to unload one track, load this sample that I'm going to scratch with, and then have to unload it and then load the next song to mix with. It's too much. Use the Scratch Bank so that way you can have both tracks loaded, ready to go, and scratch and using the Scratch Bank. Another great way of using the Scratch Bank is to preload multiple songs. This is helpful if you are making blends or mixes for social media. So you may load songs up to your cue points or your scratch bank, and then you can actually get to them quicker. There's no need to actually load those songs, so there's no load time. You can just jump to the song via your scratch bank. So that's another way you can kind of utilize the scratch bank to your benefit in your sessions. So normally what I do is I create a crate, and in that crate I have something like drops, right? So Mike Marvel's drops. These are all my samples, all of my scratch records, all of my anything I would use for a sample. Just in case my samples don't load, I have a crate for it. I can get to it real fast. Or just some sound effects or some anything, right? As you can see, it's my drops, hydraulic sounds, samples. Normally I would have to load these into a track and scratch with them, right? So if I wanted to use the fresh track, right, I would have to load that in and actually then scratch, right? So that takes up one of my decks. So I don't want to use that. I want to use the scratch banks so I don't have to always go find this track in the crate and load it to the deck when I'm finished scratching, take it off the deck and load the next song to mix with whatever song I'm scratching with, right? So that is the benefit of having the scratch banks, because now I don't have to use a deck. I don't have to go and search out of a folder. I can just launch these to the scratch bank. Now, where is the scratch bank located? It is up here, right? So this is the symbol for the scratch bank, and this is where you would load your scratches, right? So I can load, I'm trying to do this with one hand here. Hold on. So I can load songs or tracks to the scratch bank, right? I got my shred cut, right? I got, my Ooh Marvelous drop, whatever it might be. I don't know why Puerto Rico's in here, but I may have been using it for something. Yeah, so here's some sounds that I use. Mainly my two is the fresh scratch and my shred cut, and then I have Scratch Roulette, which is a album that I have that has nothing but scratch songs, and I set some cue points in there. So as you can see, I've loaded these tracks into my scratch bank. So now I never have to launch those tracks. I can just simply use the scratch bank. All right, so before you begin, you may want to come to the Serato site and look up using scratch banks with Serato DJ Pro, because I tried to use my DDJ SX2 and scratch banks was not available. So I had to switch back down to my DJM S5 because scratch banks are only available for certain hardware. So you have your Hercules controllers, your Newmarks, and these are the lists for Pioneer. So unfortunately, DDJ SX2 is not part of this. I know the popular Rev 7, the Rev 1, the Flex 6 is part of it. So you do have the ability to have that scratch bank. But I get it, right? So they can't support everything. But here are some of the mixers and controllers that are supported through the scratch bank. So if you don't have any of these, you're not going to be able to do the scratch banks, unfortunately. I think Serato needs to fix that because it's not like it's a hardware thing. This is a software option. And that software option can be added internally into Serato. So whether or not I have a mode button or a shift button, which most of our controllers do, we all have shift and sampler. Why not make it available for all? So I'm not unsure of why there are only select controllers and mixers that allow you to use the scratch bank, but here we are, right? So I found out that today. I thought I change out my equipment. Sometimes I use my turntables with the DJ MS5 mixer, which is a scratch mixer, so I get having the ability to do that here. The scratch bank's there, but the DDJ SX2 simply does not have that feature. So to my surprise, there's no scratch bank for that controller. So just noting for the wise, you may not have this option. But Serato, you need to fix that. Give it to everybody. Okay, so a couple of things. I'm going to show you how to load the samples or the scratch bank samples from the controller. So you have a couple of things here. You have your hot cue, roll, auto loop, sampler, but on the bottom, which has two buttons, there's the gate cue, the cue loop, save loop, and then scratch bank. So on here, you hold down shift and you press the sample button twice. One press would be the sampler, two presses would be the actual scratch bank. So if I hold that down and press on scratch bank, now I have my scratch banks loaded, and if I hit one of the buttons, that will load my first cut, which is the fresh cut. Right? So that's the fresh cut. Now, if I wanted my next sample, all I got to do is hit the cue. It's launched. Right? All right, and so forth. So,
ooh, marvelous.
So if I wanted to do quick jumps between scratch banks, I can do that too.
Ooh.
So as you can see, you can toggle through or quickly change your cut sound using the scratch banks. But again, this can be helpful even if you want to load real tracks to that. Set the cue point, set it to jump to the cue points, and then you can load songs quickly to be able to mix with those songs. So that is scratch banks. My question to you all is this, right? If you're scratching, is it cheating? And I love asking these questions because it riles some people up. Is it cheating to scratch with the echo on? Now, I'll repeat that. So what you just heard is me hitting some scratches with no effects on it whatsoever, right? So if I was to turn some effects on, and I think this is, right? Is it cheating to turn those effects on? Because it does give you a little bit of difference in cutting. It almost doubles up your cut, when in actuality you're only doing half of the cut. So my question is it cheating, right? That's kind of what this is boiled down to is, hey, use the scratch bank, but I really want to know, and I'll be honest. I'll raise my hand and tell you I'm using it on the intro to cheat code, right? I have echo set on there so it can double up the cuts, but as a true scratcher, I probably would not scratch live with the echo turned on. Just my preference, but I want to know what you all think. So let me know what you think. Are you going to use the scratch bank? Does your controller or mixer have the scratch bank available? And if so, do you use it? Are you going to use it? And what do you think? Put in the comments, what do you think? Is scratching with the echo on cheating? Or is it fair game? So that's it, folks. That's Scratch Bank in a nutshell. Just another way to utilize some of those saved kind of samplers inside of Serato DJ Pro to be able to do something quick and easier. That way you're not digging in your crate, searching for specific sounds or samples to scratch with. Let me know, are you going to start using the Scratch Bank? Let me know if you like it, if it's just one of those things that you may use, you may not use. I'd like to hear about it, right? So thank you all as usual for joining. For those of you that are not subscribers, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss another cheat code. Again, welcome all of you first-time viewers to the cheat code. We got a lot of stuff here, so let me know in the comments also what else you'd like to hear about as far as gear or other cheat codes that I have to come. So thank you all for watching. As always, yours truly, DJ Mike Marvelous of Marvelous DJs Cheat Code.